Hello, Bobby Barga buddies. Just wanted to make a video about a fun little strategy we came up with here on this mission. We were getting pretty destroyed on with these cosmonauts here on this mission. There's 3 waves. The first 2 waves are fine, but usually by the 3rd wave, it was getting pretty rough. And we just had an idea that we thought might work. So pretty much we concocted an idea that was kind of cowardly, kind of cheap, but you know, sometimes it's alright to do that. Ooh, that dude had some airtime there. But what we're taking here is I'm taking an MLRA TW and volcanic napalm, and he's taking a volcanic napalm and a healing gun. And I have an item that locks all missiles onto one target, and he has a brute helicopter. So the reason I'm using the item that locks onto one target is so that you can kill these guys at the beginning a little quicker, because we need a helicopter. And these guys right here just decide to distract for us, so that's good. And yeah, that Vagalta, man, he just loves it. Just plant his 2 feet and say, you know what? I am not moving from this spot. I am going to go down with the ship. And he certainly does do that. So I'm just trying to get enough kills for him to call the brute out. His isn't fully upgraded, but I think it's like 9,000 points to call, so it's a pretty expensive, but you can still get it early. And I just, you know, he can heal us up, which is fine. Which we kind of needed to start more so than later on, but yeah, we decided to put the helicopter here in the middle here because they do drop them around the outside. So these guys, unfortunately, are going to make their last stand right there with their classic strategy of let's stand still and let's reload a lot and let's not attack too much, but maybe we'll come out alive. But they don't, unfortunately, make it out alive. So there's one tall building in the middle of this map, and that's this one right here. There is a few other medium-sized buildings that could work, but the tall one seems pretty good. And what we're going to do is we're going to hide up here and be cowards, and we're going to shoot a fireball down at the base of the building, and these guys will run into it. And I think the reason they're doing this is because we're so high up, I'm thinking that they view us as far away, so they're trying to close the distance, and they unfortunately close the distance into the big fireball, which doesn't go too well for them. But what we're doing is we found the best way to do this is just to go to a corner and then shoot down on one side the fireball, and then once the volcanic napalm is reloaded, you can just go to the other corner and then shoot down, and then by that time they'll walk over to follow you to the other side, and then they'll keep going back and forth into the fire. You don't want to use the back of the building though, because there's boxes back there and sometimes they seem to get caught. But I'm kind of surprised this works, honestly, because the AI is decent on these guys, but they just don't know what to do when you're on a building, so I guess that works out for us. Originally we were fighting on foot, trying to beat this mission on foot, which I think you can do. Obviously we decided to move on because we're gonna wait to figure that out, I guess, for Inferno. But what we were doing is we were taking the C-30 bombs again, and which works really well on these guys, and just leading them down paths. But the problem is it always came down to the last phase, and they drop them on all different corners. So I guess what you could do is we could just know where they spawn at, place the bombs down where they spawn at, and just take them out right away. But yeah, we decided to do this instead. I mean, you can obviously do this with Wing Diver and Fencer too, because even Fencer can hop up here with like 4 hops. So that's pretty crazy how even Fencer can get really high in the map. But that's pretty cool. But yeah, this seems to work out pretty well for us. I mean, it's great that the Ranger has such good air control, like Mario in the air, where you can jump over the edge 1 foot and then jump back in. While you're in the air, you can move forward 1 foot, then back 1 foot, which is pretty crazy. I'm kind of surprised that the controls feel that good, honestly, of the jumping in a game like this. But we also tried being on different roofs, so that we could always, so we could snipe. One person could snipe them from the other side while the other person is distracting with the fire. But the problem is, they seem like the AI what happens is when you attack an enemy, they will look at you and come towards you when you attack them. And then when the other person attacks, they'll come back towards the other person. So what we had the problem was they were walking back and forth between buildings a lot, and it was just a slow process. Plus they were sniping us when they would turn around. When you sniped them, they would turn around and snipe you really quickly. So it just seemed to be better to be on one building. I also tried impulses actually too, dropping them down here on the side of the building, but that didn't work as well because the problem was it took too long to drop the impulses and they would be underneath you already. So I had a bunch of impulses on their helmets and it wasn't setting anything off. However, when they did roll, like that guy rolled right there, when they did roll, they would set all the impulses off, which is kind of funny, but yeah, it didn't seem to work too well. Fire seemed to be the best. But yeah, when they do drop in the cosmonauts, you want to be careful a little bit too until they get close to the building, because we don't have much health for what we're supposed to have on this mission, so they can drop you pretty fast. So we just stayed in the middle of the building sometimes when they drop them down. But I think, yeah, there's one more wave after this, and then that's the end. Yeah, there was actually NPCs, a bunch of NPCs in the middle, and then a couple of vehicles in the middle, and it only took a matter of minutes before they were down. And that's kind of crazy because that's what we were expecting on higher difficulties, which is fine with me. Like that's how they scale the difficulty, is, you know, the NPCs will die faster and therefore everything will be on you and you have to learn how to deal with it rather than having them as a crutch. I mean, you can heal them a little bit with like a healing bomb or something, but it just doesn't work too well on the higher difficulties. But hey, here's the last drop, so we're just going to go here in the middle and we're going to do some dancing and do some attempts at trying to coordinate, which is kind of awkward with our high fives. But yeah, because he's in Germany, so everything's 1 second behind on our audio chat, so whenever I do countdowns, he has to be 1 second earlier. He has to go 1 second earlier on 3 instead of go. He also has a controller that's the analog is kind of getting older, I guess, because he's always moving slowly to the right, which is funny. Not all the time, but sometimes his analog will get a little stuck, and I always see him moving slowly. Yeah, here's the last wave. This is fun to watch, just watching 15 guys crowd around a big fireball. I'm kind of surprised they can't shoot you through the wall there a little bit, because on the mountains they can definitely do that. But not so much on these buildings here, so that works out. But yeah, I plan on we're doing, like I said, hardest right now. I plan on uploading some videos that seem interesting, at least that I'll upload. I won't upload every video probably, but on Inferno I'm probably going to do well, we're definitely going to be doing Inferno, but we're going to do you know, strategies on Inferno with different class setups, and ultimately I like to do the same thing where it'd be 2 Ranger runs as well, which I think is going to be the most challenging if you don't take vehicles or items even, but we'll see. But yeah, I hit the fireball on the side there, so not a big deal. I can heal up through it. I think my fireball does 18,000 right now, and his does, I think, 20 something, which I don't think they're both fully upgraded yet, but it feels the same as before, fireball. Which I've always loved this weapon. It's one of my favorites, even though it's not always practical, but it's definitely fun. And now it's just a matter of collecting items down there. It's a good thing they do talk for a little bit at the end there, so we do have a chance to get some items, but there's not too many weapons really, just a lot of armor and health, which that's because I noticed there's a lot more increase in item drops on this particular game, but it doesn't seem like it's as many weapons. It's more armor and health, which isn't a bad thing, I guess. Probably just depends on the mission. I've also got to keep an eye on the weapon drops, because it seems to me, I could be wrong, but from my experience so far, it seems like the drops are a lot narrower in range of level for weapons. Like this mission will drop, you know, between 50 and 55, but not higher or lower, so we'll see. Anyway, that'll be all for this video. Thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you on the next one. We did it, we figured it out. Ooh, new weapon. Oh wow, that shotgun, that good one, is leveled up.
My burst firecracker leveled up.